My idea, if we were to do it, is so right now in Rocket League, there is no way for organizations to make money. Okay, so an org picks up a team, the whole premises or the whole thought process behind it is by our organization's name being associated with a top tier team, we are now pulling exposure and the chance to sell merch, right? So we'll take it for example, um, Cloud9. Okay, because Cloud9's good on both sides of the spectrum of why this is a problem. Okay, so Cloud9 comes in and they create what is called an opportunity cost in their budget as an organization, right? So Cloud9 basically has a general ballpark idea of how much money they can allocate to the Rocket League esports scene every year, month, whatever, right? That's included in travel expenses, the ability to fly their teams to tournaments and stuff. If they want to promote them or do video concept material, uh, making someone like an editor paid for highlight packages, whatever, right? And then also player salary. So they have pre-allocated this money for their team for the hopes of two things. Number one, making more money because it is a business, and number two, exposure. Exposure basically increases the reach and the impressions that they get on social media and everything else, which then drives back to the similar point. You have a fan base, you have people that are dedicated, people that want to buy your merch, etc. Right? Cloud9 is a prime example because they are one of the best branded teams in the world. Their logos, their attire, their whatever is fantastic. Super clean, looks great, good color scheme. It's exactly what you want, right? So Cloud9 stuff, whether you are a fan or not of the physical team, people like their merch just because it looks cool. That's great, right? Once you as a organization hit a certain point, right? Once you hit so many followers or so much exposure, teams, whatever, it is no longer worthwhile to be involved in something unless you are making money back. You are no longer paying for the ability to obtain exposure, follows, whatever. It's just not worthwhile anymore. Okay. So right now, the issue is for teams like Cloud9, Energy, Flipside Tactics, um, literally every org in Rocket League, is there is no way for them to counteract the cost of being in Rocket League with the ability to make money to come out ahead. Teams can do this in multiple different ways. Take percentage of prize pools. I can tell you right now the prize pools are just finally getting to a point where taking a percentage might be an okay idea. If it's less than $100,000, most organizations won't touch it because it just isn't worth it for the tax claim. It's just not. So we're finally getting to a point where it may be possible where if first place takes 200,000, you split that three ways between each player, and then you take like 10% of that. So the org takes 20 grand or something. I don't know. I'm not an esports owner. I don't know what the going rate is for taking possession or taking partial. If I was an org, I would do it based upon incentives. I would say, you guys get to keep your money, but we'll pay you more the better you perform. So it goes hand in hand. If you do really well, you get a better salary with bonuses, and you also get a prize pool. But if you don't perform well, then you just get only your base salary, which is going to be relatively a little bit lower than everybody else for that reason. Incentivizes them to play better. I get to keep a little bit more money as an org. So if you can't make the money back through t-shirt sales, exposure is no longer worthwhile. You do what is called a revenue share with the developer. The best way to go about doing this is you create a contract with said developer saying that for this X amount of time period, we will promote your org in our game through various items, banners, decals, goal explosions, titles, whatever, whatever you can think of, custom wheels, whatever, the possibilities are technically endless, right? A flag, like antennas, you name it, right? Hey, Brendan. So with all of that, right, you have the ability to then say, we will take the time and effort if you send us your graphics, and we will put them in game. And by putting them in game, we are basically promoting you guys. And because we're promoting you guys in our game to our massive player base, we are going to take some of that money. but then you also get some of that money. And the way that you go about that and the way you implement it is you can do it in multiple ways. My opinion, if we go back into here, there should be a esports store somewhere in here. Or if you go into the showroom, there should be another tab for esports. And in that tab, it would have every team the ability to buy a crate for... You can either buy the items individually for like $2 to $5. So like if I wanted a Cloud9 decal, it'd be $3, right? Just $3 right off the top. And Psyonix gets 80% of that, and Cloud9 gets 20% of that. That alone could fund the esports scene. But let's take it a step further. How about, instead of buying for items individually, we have a Cloud9 crate. And it's not an RNG crate. It's literally, you spend $10 and you get a goal explosion, you get a decal, you get an antenna, you get a topper, you get like 5 items for a flat $10. Therefore, rather than spending money individually in small increments, you just have one big flat cost and you get all of it. People are going to buy that, and you're going to end up getting the average amount spent per player to be significantly higher because they're willing to spend that extra couple bucks. Because why spend $5 and get 2 items when I can spend $10 and get 4 or 5, right? It makes more sense, right? So then that revenue being shared, or rev share, partially goes to the organization, and then it also goes to Psyonix, and you can use that to fund your esport as well as put into prize pools and etc. Right? Let's take that one step further. Let's say Dignitas wins the world championship, and they already have a crate. That's kind of cool. But let's take that to another level. What happens if we give them a unique Season 4 or Season 5 World Champion banner? A Season 5, Season 4 World Champion wheel. Something exclusive that only if you are a fan of Dignitas you can get if you buy it within a certain time frame after the event. So Season 6 World Championship comes around. It's in Vegas. Dignitas wins again. It's crazy. Who would have guessed? Everybody who's watching the World Championship is now like, holy shit, Dignitas is crazy. I got to go support them in game. And they go buy this exclusive, one of a kind. It's not one of a kind. It's a digital thing that doesn't work. But you get this exclusive one-time thing that you can buy for only 2 weeks. And it's a little bit more expensive. Be pretty crazy, right? But what happens if we take it even further? You've got 10 teams going to the World Championship. Okay. You get 10 teams going to the World Championship. 4 from North America, 4 from Europe, 2 from OCE. That is technically $120 for every team's items. Okay? It's $120. Sounds pretty expensive. So, and this is just a ballpark. This could be done. $10 per crate. 12 teams. So $120. Right? If they did that, now imagine they put out an NA bundle. That's a Dumble. And for $50, you get all 8 teams. Do an EU bundle. Also $50. All 8 teams. OC bundle. 2 teams, $10. Fuck it, we'll cut it in half. What if you do World Championship and do it for $75? Think about the amount of money you missed a P in championship. Championship. Who wants to go to the championship? It's my favorite. Sorry. It's hard to type with a champion. It's hard to type with this in the way. Right? And you're saying we're gonna do some quick maths here, right? So let me take this, let's copy it, let's hide it. Let me pull up a notepad. Let's do this, format, font, let's make this bigger. Alright. And we'll capture monitor. Alright. So let's do this, right? So imagine this is an idea, okay? So on average, we hit 150,000 viewers.
Lawler, shut up.
Okay. 200K last time I checked was roughly 2.4 million unique people for the season 3 or 4 World Championship, I think it was. Okay. Let's say 1% of them buy the World Championship bundle. They all spend 100 or 75 bucks. Probably have to work that out. You got to make it worthwhile. That'll probably go up higher. Let's make it 85. Okay. So 1% buy the World Championship bundle if there's 200K people watching. So you take 2.4, 2, 1. So you got 2.4 million people. Take 1% of that. Right? It's 240,000 people. And they all buy $85. You just made $20,400,000. That's 10%. I fucked up. So get rid of a zero. That's 2.4 million. I fucked up. Sorry. I did the wrong thing. 0.01 times 2, 4. Nope, it's 24 million. Times that by 85. 2,040,000. $2,040,000. 1%. See my point? Now, don't forget that if we do an even split, say Psionics gets 80% and Org get 20%. Because fuck math. See my point now? 408,000. Thank you. I just feel like doing the math. Makes sense though, right? That's 1%. 1. That is my argument as to why we should. Understand as well with that, there's a lot of things behind the scenes that are going to increase costs. That is now a lot more stress on the development team. That is a lot more things for... So there's a lot of things that comes down to, right? Is that you're now forcing your graphics team to make more content, which puts them under a lot more stress. It's a lot more work. It's more hours that you have to pay them. There's a lot of logistics and legal nightmare behind that, getting the contracts initially signed and everything. There is plenty of people that know how to do that and make it easy. It is possible. You can literally take the way Valve does it and every other place does it and make it pretty straightforward. You're just adjusting the numbers and the amounts. So if they were to do that, that is kind of a very rough concept. The cost and the amount and how much the orgs get, how much the Psionics gets is going to range. If I pull up I'm trying to find a source to see how much orgs take. So this is a Team Liquid. Sponsorships and advertising are 70 to 80% of their money that they make, which makes sense. Merchandising, media rights, tournament winnings, franchise leagues. Doesn't say. It's not much though. It's only like it's like 3 to 5%, I think, something like that. But that's just I did those numbers because it's really easy to calculate. Stefan, thank you for the follow. But Sinex just has to be willing.